Heyo everyone, Hexi here, and today I just wanted to talk about an anime for a change that is very important to me and helped me come to terms with some very human concepts early on in life. That anime is, of course, Xam'd Lost Memories. At a glance, you might see some similarities to Studio Ghibli's art style. However, this was created by Studio Bones in 2008, so there are some stark differences despite the similarities. The animation has a certain fluidity to it that I don't get to see in a lot of animes. Every motion has a calculated and considered level of momentum and weight that I don't usually get to see. Every flip and roll seems to take into account how the body has to move and the force being exerted on the character and the environment. And it shows up many times within this show, and I love it every time. One thing that really amazes me about this show is how much the characters stick out in my mind. Usually after a while I'll forget characters' names and I'll just refer to them by their roles instead. Yet every character felt so developed. I only had a few slip through the cracks and still remembered most of these characters by name years after watching the show the initial time. Somehow, Xam'd always manages to place its musical drops at exactly the right moment, evoking emotional responses when the characters need you to sympathize with them the most, putting you on edge when the show needs you to feel the tension that the characters on screen are feeling, and making the action feel impactful and meaningful in the heat of the moment. The theme song is punchy and energetic, and the main theme for the Xam'd is soothing, sorrowful, moving, and powerful, all at the same time. Xam'd starts out with our main character, Akiyuki, a regular schoolboy living on Sentan Island. It's considered a neutral zone between two warring nations, one to the north and one to the south. And he's worried about running late for school, but his mother forces him to take lunch to his father before he goes. His parents are separated, you see. Not like divorced separated, but living separately. His father was a combat medic in the war that was alluded to have happened 6 years before the anime started. And he now works as a civilian doctor and basically lives at his office, researching medicines and giving the senior citizens their arthritis medication. After dropping off his dysfunctional father's lunch, Akiyuki manages to get to the bus right before it leaves, receiving teasing from his two friends, Furuichi and Haru. But he notices a girl in line who he's never seen before clutching a bag. He slips her his armband so she can get on the bus, assuming there's nothing wrong with this situation. However, she winds up being a terrorist for some sort of cultist religion that's related to the northern government somehow. And the bag she was carrying just so happens to contain a bomb. It explodes in a burst of light, embedding a jewel in Akiyuki's arm, and that turns him into an imposing, monstrous form. Akiyuki's monster form is called a Xam'd, and it looks somewhere between a mech, a Sentai suit, and some sort of kaiju design. It gives him incredible stretchy abilities, allowing him to morph his body into various offensive and defensive weapons, as well as an incredible amount of durability and agility. After being transformed into a Xam'd, the situation erupts when the northern government invades. They drop in their war beasts known as human forms, although these beasts look nothing like humans. Without thinking about his situation or the consequences, Akiyuki immediately engages the human form in order to protect his friends and classmates, launching into a battle of epic proportions, and this is just the first fight. In order to protect Haru, Akiyuki pounds the human form into a pulp until its body begins to crystallize. However, that's when a mysterious new girl shows up, stabbing Akiyuki through the hand and asks if he's human, and then she asks if he wants to live. This girl is Nakayami, and she makes Akiyuki promise that he won't stop thinking. Otherwise, he's gonna lose his sense of self, and the gem in his arm is gonna turn him to stone. Nakayami takes Akiyuki back to an airship that delivers mail known as the Zanbani. This is where the majority of the series will take place, either on board or revolving around this ship. And that's it for the spoiler-free section. So if you want to experience this story for yourself and see how Akiyuki develops as a character by going through his various trials and tribulations, I'd urge you to stop the video here and go watch it for yourself. I'll still be here when you're done. For those of you who need to know how it ends though, here are some of my personal highlights that I felt were important throughout the show. Thanks go out to my Patreon supporters. Your donations mean the world to me, and I thank you for supporting my future endeavors.